Philadelphia, you've got yourself a Super Bowl contender. That's right, I said it. So, before the season, I predicted the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East. Not because they had a better roster than Philly, because they don't. Not because they have a better coach than Philly, because they don't. Not because they have a better front office than Philly, because they definitely don't. But because I trusted Dak Prescott more than Jalen Hurts. Now, while that has not changed, this Philadelphia team is even better than I thought it would be. And it is really a hats off to everybody, starting with the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, to the general manager, Howie Roseman, and down to the head coach, Nick Sirianni. Because everybody played into their strengths, didn't get big egos, and understood, here's how we can put ourselves in the best position to win. Okay? Because you had Howie Roseman, who gave Carson Wentz a lot of money. Carson Wentz at one point was one of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. 2019, he led the Eagles to the playoffs, led them to the NFC East division title. But Howie Roseman saw what I think I saw, and I think, if we're being honest, what a lot of people out there saw. Something off about Wentz. Like, I can't put a finger. He's a little deer in headlights, a little unsure of himself. He kind of double clutches. He doesn't make the greatest decisions with the football. He's not great in the locker room, not the greatest leader. And so, a year after I give Wentz that big contract, I'm going to go draft Jalen Hurts in the second round. And it set the NFL world on fire. Like, what? You've already got your guy. Why are you drafting somebody that could possibly be a franchise quarterback elsewhere? Yes, we had concerns about Jalen Hurts' ability to throw the football down the field, his ability to throw accurately. We had no doubts about his ability to move in and get outside of the pocket. But we're like, you've already got your guy. That's a little too good of a backup to have to be a threat to your starter. And what happened in 2020? It's kind of a disaster. Philadelphia won 4 games that year. Doug Peterson got fired, and Carson Wentz got traded, and they fully committed to Jalen Hurts. But last year, they got off to a little bit of a rough start. New head coach Nick Sirianni. Feels like Philadelphia is in kind of a rebuild. And what happens? Nick Sirianni, the head coach, did something that most head coaches, most people in power don't do. He showed incredible self-awareness. He said, you know what? I'm calling the offensive plays right now. It's not really working. I'm going to hand it off the offensive coordinator. I'm going to be the game manager head coach. Right? I'm going to, be aware of the clock, use timeouts, maybe, hey, let's go, clapping, motivating your guys. But I'm not going to be a play caller. And what happened? Philadelphia got in a roll the rest of the season, ended up getting in the playoffs. And now this year they're 2-0, and their offense looks unbelievable. And something about Jalen Hurts, too. And I have to be, you know me, I always try to keep it real on the show, keep it fair. I've always loved about Josh Allen, who I'm going to talk about in the next segment with the Buffalo Bills. What I've always said time and time again on this show, I've also said it about Lamar Jackson, is that from their rookie year till now, you can clearly see, they've absolutely gotten better year by year by year. Well, I could say the same thing about Jalen Hurts. Even in terms of team success. He took over end of his rookie year, 2020. Only started, I think, 3 or 4 games. It was a 4-win team, didn't make the playoffs. He threw a lot of interceptions, had a lot of fumbles. Last year, especially at the end of last year, got in a roll, played into his strengths. They ran the football. He was good on accurate short passes. And now this year, he has the Eagles in position, certainly to win the NFC East. Who knows? Possibly to get that number 1 seed. And again, a weak NFC. I still trust the Rams. I'm not panicking after the way they've looked their first 2 games. I said on Monday's show, something's off about Tampa. Can Minnesota get that number 1 seed? We'll see. Green Bay, I don't trust. The Niners, we'll see with Jimmy Garoppolo. Never forget last year, they were the 6th seed with Jimmy Garoppolo with that great roster. So Philadelphia in that division has an opportunity to go get the number 1 seed. Especially, I think Philly has they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. I mean, you look at Philly's schedule moving forward, it is not like It's not exactly murderer's row. Okay, they got at the Commanders, home against the Jaguars, at Arizona, home against Dallas, home against Pittsburgh, at Houston, Commanders at home, Colts on the road, Packers at home, Titans at home, at the Giants, at the Bears, at the Cowboys, and then 2 home games against the Saints and Giants. Not exactly intimidating. Okay, there's certainly some losable games in there. I mean, Philly's not going 17-0, obviously. But this is a well-rounded football team. And I said about the defense, too. I was a little concerned about the defense after giving up 35 points to Detroit. Well, part of that looks like now is that Detroit has a very good offense. Okay, Detroit's put up 35-plus the first 2 games of the season. Detroit looks pretty good. Philadelphia, though, on the other hand, they face an equally explosive offense, the Minnesota Vikings, with Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, and Madison, and Irv Smith, and all those guys. And they completely shut them down. Some of that might very well maybe the Monday Night Football curse with Kirk Cousins. I don't know what it is with this man, but he looks like a backup quarterback every time he plays Monday Night Football. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the bright lights. Something's up with Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. I think Minnesota's going to bounce back. I'm not worried about the Vikings from here. Who they got next week? They got the Detroit Lions. So that's not an easy game, but that is at home. They are a better football team. I think they're a better coached football team. So that's certainly a winnable game for the Minnesota Vikings. But if you're Philadelphia, you got to feel great about yourself. Schedule's not bad. Coach understands what he is and what he isn't. Quarterback understands the same. Now, here's the only trepidation I have about Philly. Can Jalen, because this has always been my question about Jalen Hurts, can he throw the ball accurately down the field? Because I've said numerous times on the show, especially last year, Jalen Hurts' deep ball, I say it dies in the air. It's not the Matthew Stafford or Justin Herbert or Aaron Rodgers deep ball where it just comes beautifully out of the air and then just nosedives perfectly into the receiver's hands. Hurts' deep ball kind of goes up and then it just kind of falls. It doesn't dive, it just falls. And a lot of times it gets underthrown and sometimes it gets intercepted. He'd look at a lot of Jalen Hurts interceptions last year. A lot of them were on underthrown deep balls. So Minnesota kind of threw that same look, not to get too technical, but Minnesota kind of threw that same cover 4 look at Philadelphia. They didn't really adjust. Not sure why, but they didn't. When they move forward, when other defensive coordinators do adjust to what Philadelphia does offensively, can Jalen Hurts still make those throws? I don't doubt that he can. But this is going to be something to keep your eye on moving forward. But today, in that conference, Philadelphia is a Super Bowl contender. They are. The playmakers they have on defense, the guys they got offensively. Let's not forget Miles Sanders, excellent in the running game behind maybe the best offensive line in football. So they can control the clock, and they have playmakers to the outside. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert at tight end. Okay, so Philadelphia's got some good pass catchers, excellent in the running game. This team is going to be a problem moving forward. At this point, I think they're going to win the NFC East. And at that point, the question is going to be, can they get that number 1 overall seed and get that first round bye to the divisional round of the playoffs? We'll see. But Philadelphia, that was a statement. That was a statement by a team that a lot of people have kind of been on the fence on. Some people have gone all in, say, oh, they could go to the Super Bowl. Some, like myself, are like, they kind of just feel like a playoff team that goes one and done again. This team looks legit. So we'll see when defensive coordinators adjust, if Philadelphia does as well. Given how they've started this year, given how they finished at the end of last season, I think they will. Because remember, they're sort of like the anti-Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals got off to that, 8-0 start last year, and then they ended up losing like 5 of their last 6 games because Cliff Kingsbury is the worst coach in the NFL in terms of adjustments. Philadelphia was the opposite. They got off to an awful start and then finished hot down the stretch. That's a testament to the coaching staff and to the roster. So, as much as I hate to say it, job well done, Philly. Job well done. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube. Be sure to click that big red subscribe button and go check out the other clips and full shows of Carving It Up Live. Have a blessed day.